Before I continue our tale, please hit subscribe button for more recap adventures like this one. So, sit tight, because this episode is going to be action-packed. The barbarian girl mounted her wolf, vowing to repay what she had received. Her declaration was clear. She intended to exact revenge and claim Camus, the next leader of the Morg clan, as payment for her suffering. At that moment, Camus' uncle, Adolf, arrived. I figured he came after learning about the ambush. Adolf promptly cast a spell that fractured the ground, demanding the barbarians to return his niece. However, they agilely maneuvered over the shattered rocks on top of their wolves, escaping Adolf's pursuit. Frustration etched across Adolf's face as he witnessed their escape. A mage informed Adolf that the barbarians had fled to the restricted area of Le Rouge et Le Noir mountain. Adolf, aware of the dangers, expressed his displeasure. Considering the perils of venturing there at night, he questioned if there was any action they could take. I suggested we pursue the barbarians, surprising Adolf. I confidently reminded him of my experience navigating dense forests since childhood. A bold-faced lie as it was Vikir, not me, in his past life that explored it. Adolf grabbed my shoulders, eager to confirm my words, and reluctantly entrusted me with saving his niece. The Morg and Baskerville's troops followed me through the perilous forest. Running impressively, I showcased skills that caught Adolf's attention, pondering if all young Baskerville boys were of similar quality. The answer he got left him more amazed. As we encountered obstacles, I effortlessly eliminated them. The group, particularly the Baskerville triplets, admired my skills. Holding them back, I noticed light ahead, suggesting the barbarians hadn't fled far. I shared a rumor about Balak hunters scattering dry leaves to listen for pursuers, emphasizing the need for caution. Unexpectedly, Adolf approached and cast a silent spell on us, preventing any noise as we continued. Adolf flashed a smile and declared that he would now take lead, expressing gratitude for my assistance. Using the term of nephew-in-law to refer to me left me puzzled. Not too far from our location, the barbarians had established a camp in the forest, with a central fire illuminating their surroundings. Camus, bound to a tree trunk, vociferously threatened the barbarians, warning them of an impending fiery reckoning. Unfortunately, the barbarians paid little heed, likely unable to comprehend her language. The barbarian girls standing before Camus engaged in a conversation of their own. One expressed admiration for the guy they encountered earlier, while her companion mentioned her failures in husband hunting. At that moment, the barbarian male who had captured Camus approached her. With a smirk, he suggested that my capturing such an excellent female meant all the males in their tribe would desire her. Camus retorted, calling him a perverted bastard. However, the barbarian seemed oblivious to her pleas, indicating his belief in the need to discipline the defiant slave. The barbarian girl I saved from the slave auction arrived at the scene. She sternly told him to stay away from her slave, referring to the barbarian male as Ahun. Ahun proudly claimed credit for capturing her, but the girl dismissed his claims on the grounds of how she had saved Ahun's life by stopping the boy with the sword. Ahun questioned if Camus had become her booty. Observing the dispute, Camus deduced the girl's name as Ayin, and her role was the commander. Ayin, surrounded by a blue aura, warned Ahun that challenging her would turn him into a bloody mess. Ahun, conceding defeat, left. Turning her attention to back Camus, Ayin praised her qualities but revealed her capture and sale into slavery by the Morgs pisses her off. Ayin vowed to tame her, making menial tasks a daily routine. Suddenly, a loud scream echoed, followed by an explosion prompted her to turn around. She questioned the source of the commotion, seeing a barbarian was engulfed in flames, wailing in agony, while others armed themselves, realizing they were under attack. A figure emerged from the fiery scene, condemning the barbarians and pledging to make them pay for their deeds. Camus's face brightened with a smile as she recognized the voice and enthusiastically shouted, "Uncle!" Adolf Morg stood with flames still dancing in his hands. The barbarians were caught off guard as the combined forces of the Baskerville and Morg clans descending upon them. Perched on a tree branch, I observed the unfolding chaos with a sense of bewilderment.
Master, wouldn't it be prudent for you to join them in the ambush? I understand your desire to conceal your power, and if you wish, I can implement a limiter for you.
Even though that sounds like a reasonable idea, it's not the reason for my hesitation. There's something peculiar about this situation. The usually well-coordinated Balak hunters, renowned for their systematic ambushes, seem surprisingly disorganized. It's as if their main concern is something other than confronting us.
Master, isn't the essence of an ambush to leave the enemy disoriented? That's why it's called an ambush.
Viewers, hit that like button if you give me the green light to strangle my AI, or drop a comment explaining why I shouldn't. The barbarian girls expressed their frustration at the tumult caused by the ambush within the forest in the dead of night. Adolf vehemently insisted on not letting a single barbarian escape, and Camus, tied to a tree, watched the chaotic scene unfold with a satisfied smile, believing the barbarians deserved every bit of it. Detecting sounds from behind, Camus was overjoyed to see me, but I gestured for silence. But Camus, unable to contain her excitement, joyfully shouted my name like a lovesick dumbass while I severed the ropes that bound her. Camus inquired if I had come to rescue her, slightly irritated. I questioned her failure to grasp the concept of silence. As we began to retreat, Ayen unexpectedly appeared. Recognizing my exceptional overall skill set, Ayen anticipated my arrival, praising my physique, level-headedness in navigating the forest darkness, and the depth of my passionate love that compelled me to risk my life for Camus. Wondering if she too was stupid after hearing all that, Ayen then mentioned that I had proven myself. Ayen's cryptic statement left me perplexed, wondering what exactly I had proven. Camus and Ayen locked eyes in a silent exchange, their intentions conveyed through intense gazes. I tightened my grip around Camus, realizing it might be challenging to conceal my abilities in my current situation. Puzzled, I questioned why I couldn't recall anyone like Ayen from Vikir's past life. I contemplated whether Ayen could be the one who scarred Hugo's nose bridge, the night fox.
Master, you have to remember in that timeline she would have been a slave and who knew how long she would have lasted as one. Freeing her changed her fate and initiating auto-defensive measures.
A barbarian launched a surprise dart attack, but I reflectively blocked it with my hand. It was the same barbarian who had kidnapped Camus. I then took Camus in my arms and informed her that the situation had become complicated. Blushing, Camus agreed to accompany me. As we swiftly moved away, I headed toward Adolf. Ayen, disappointed, expressed her desire for me to return obediently with her. Meanwhile, carrying Camus, questioned me about the severity of my poisoning. Two barbarians attempted to shoot arrows, but I adeptly deflected both. In the meantime, Ayen prepared her bow and arrow, taking aim at Camus. She decided she should eliminate the morgue girl and, without hesitation, she released the arrow, its bluish aura leaving a visible trail as it sped toward its target. Data's warning alarm rung like bees in cone, and I went into soul fusion with Vikir, but before I could react, an ice wall caught the arrow. The protective ice wall successfully intercepted the arrow aimed at Camus. Adolf, concerned for his niece's well-being, expressed alarm at the potential danger. Camus, visibly relieved, called out to her uncle. Adolf then took hold of Camus, casting a spell named Cure Poison on her. He explained that the poison was challenging to completely eliminate, suggesting she seek further treatment once we return. However, Camus pushed Adolf's hand away, requesting him to let go for a moment. Confused, Adolf complied. Camus rushed towards me, embracing me tightly and expressing gratitude for saving her once again. This surprised Adolf, who shouted Camus's name in disbelief. Adolf tried to explain that he had done his best, but Camus, with an angry expression, questioned why her uncle had only arrived at this moment. She declared her intention to share everything with her mother, who I'm guessing is his sister, and if she is anything like my real sister, I'll pray for him.
Are you praying because your sister once hit you so hard it calmed you down from a rage state, or because she managed to knock out your brother during a grapple, or perhaps the time you thought she was fighting her son's dead, but it turned out she had him in a mix of the sharpshooter and sideways twist and left him asking for your help? Or is it because she gave her godbrother a gut-blocking reflex from all the unexpected gut shots she delivered to him?
What the hell, Data? That wasn't said for you to comment on.
I'm sorry, Master.
Well, even to this day, I don't know how she managed to get him to bend that way, but anyway. A rope suddenly flew towards me, coiling around my neck. Ayen, who had thrown the rope, attempted to pull me towards her. Despite her efforts, I remained still. Ayen couldn't comprehend why I was so strong and suggested that I allow myself to be captured, claiming she didn't have much time. Camus, witnessing this exchange, recognized Ayen and expressed disbelief at encountering her once again. I broke free from the rope and contemplated Ayen's urgency. Suddenly, a wave of killing intent engulfed the entire forest, causing panic among the birds and a bad sense of dread. Ayen looked up in horror, realizing that whatever she had anticipated had noticed our presence. Beelzebub on my hand began to buzz, warning me that something was approaching. Ayen exclaimed, "She's coming." I questioned who or what Ayen was referring to, and with a cold sweat, she uttered, "Madam Eight Legs." A massive pillar-like structure emerged from the heart of the forest, recognized by the barbarians as Madam Eight Legs. The pillar burst open, revealing 8 elongated appendages resembling branches. Adolf voiced disbelief at such a monstrous creature hidden within the forest. I realized then we were facing Madam Eight Legs, a notorious entity with an S-risk rating. The gigantic spider emitted a piercing scream, instilling fear in everyone present. Everyone stood frozen in fear as we gazed at Madam Eight Legs, her dominating figure commanding attention. Camus attempted to speak, but I silenced her quickly, telling her of the creature's poor sight but sensitive touch and hearing. My thoughts went back to an old native's warning about incidents associated within the mountain, a legend resembling a horror story about the Madam with 8 Legs. The Empire's monster dictionary contained records of this creature capable of causing causing nationwide destruction in a single day. Madame Eightlegs emitted a piercing scream, accompanied by a corrosive substance that sprayed from her mouth, causing visible damage to tree branches. I carefully dodged the falling poison rain, while Adolf created a protective barrier for himself and Camus. Ahun panicked when some poison landed on his hair. Ayan quickly cut off his hair to prevent further exposure, leaving Ahun on his knees, panting in terror. In a low, angry voice, Ayan berated him for screaming in front of Madame Eightlegs, warning him that if he weren't the shaman's grandchild, she would have killed him. Ayan then ordered the barbarians to retreat in a hushed command, and Adolf, carrying Camus, also commanded a quiet escape. Madame Eightlegs responded with playful noises, seemingly amused by the chaos unfolding before her. Among the fleeing groups, the Balaks scattered in smaller clusters, while the Baskervilles and Morgs retreated together. The Madame observed the differences in how both groups retreated, deciding whom to chase after. As Madame Eightlegs charged towards the Baskerville and Morg group, Adolf expressed frustration, questioning why the creature was heading their way. A Morg mage confidently stepped forward, telling Adolf to leave the monster to him. He began casting a fire spell, claiming it should be the creature's weakness. With a surge of power, he unleashed the fiery spell upon Madame Eightlegs, resulting in a colossal explosion that engulfed the area. The mage believed he had succeeded, boasting to Sir Adolf about the effectiveness of his attack. However, before he could say anything further, one of the mages standing beside him was impaled by one of Madame's legs. The mage, covered in his companion's blood, trembled in fear, realizing that the fire spell hadn't stopped the creature. As Adolf, Camus, and I continued running, Camus expressed shock and bewilderment at the sight of the monstrous creature. Lost in thought, I suddenly realized something, as I came to a halt and turned around to face Madame Eightlegs, surprising everyone with my sudden movement. Staffordshire questioned me, expressing concern about my intentions. I replied that we were all at risk of being annihilated if we don't take immediate action. I proposed the need to tie down the monster's legs, and when Staffordshire volunteered, I interrupted, questioning his ability to accomplish the task with his skills. I asserted that I was the best person for restraining its legs. I turned to Sir Adolf, stressing that time was running out. Camus looked at me with shock and called out, but I urged them to hurry and leave. Adolf, frustrated, decided to run away, not allowing my sacrifice to be in vain. The situation grew tense as I prepared to face Madame Eightlegs alone. My hand tightly clenched around the hilt of my sword at first, but eventually, I loosened my grip and let out a sigh. Contemplating my situation, I realized I had no personal interest in the destruction of the Baskerville territory. However, I saw this as an opportunity for myself. If I could fake my death, I could create distance between myself and Hugo's surveillance, buying time to master the 10th technique in my mind. Once skilled enough to stand against Hugo, or perfected in hiding and controlling my power, I planned to return to the clan then. A red aura began to glow on my hand as Beelzebub emerged. I realized that if I didn't use everything at my disposal, I would die.
Are you out of your mind? I get the necessity of evading Hugo's watchful eye, but this is excessively risky. The probability of successfully defeating such an opponent like Madame Eightlegs appears almost infinitesimally low, like 0.0000001% low.
Like Han Solo, don't give me the odds data. Plus, I know what I'm doing, I think.
May God help us all.
With unwavering determination, I decided to utilize soul resonance quickly as I wielded the formidable demonic sword Beelzebub. Covered in a red aura, my eyes glowed with a fierce light. I resolved to utilize all my power and launch an attack. With swift movements, I darted toward Madame Eightlegs and leaped high into the air. Hovering, I directed my gaze down at Madame as the monstrous creature screamed as she locked eyes with me. With incredible speed, I shot toward Madame Eightlegs, utilizing the Baskerville 5th technique. As I closed in on her, Madame Eightlegs found herself unable to move her legs, which began to press firmly into the ground. Simultaneously, my attack struck Madame Eightlegs' head, forcing it to the ground. From a distance, a radiant red light became visible, rapidly increasing in size. Adolf ran while holding Camus, and a massive beam of light shot up from the location where I and Madame Eightlegs clashed. Camus, watching the scene unfold, was struck with shock, and soon a tear welled up in her eyes. She couldn't contain herself and shouted my name. Only a bright red glow remained in the now silent forest, marking the aftermath of the powerful encounter.
If you're finding this story engaging, feel free to drop a comment below. I'd love to discuss the unfolding narrative and hear your thoughts. And if you're enjoying the tales shared, don't forget to hit that like button. For more captivating stories like this, simply click on any of the links by my side, and together, let's dive into more immersive worlds. Your feedback and interaction make this journey all the more exciting.